But when you have to think about yourself, that's a whole nother reflection. Sometimes when we read the scriptures, when we listen to sermons, when we sit in Bible study class and we see all these things, sometimes our minds might wander to a person who we don't like and say, well, this is how so-and-so is. This is how so-and-so is. This is how this person is. We think about another person. But God didn't write for us to be able to wag our fingers at everybody in the world, but to look at ourselves and change ourselves. What if we start first by taking care of our own business? Minding our business. We cannot fix someone else's business, especially if you have not fixed your own business. Y'all know what I'm talking about? You go over to your neighbor's house, try to tell them how dirty their house is, but your house is 10 times worse. Worse than moral ground. And it's so easy to play the blame game, you know. It's easy to blame other people, to blame the government, to blame the media, to try and blame it on bad people. But you cannot convict anybody else if you haven't first convicted yourself. Do you know that we're all guilty of sin? So in the search to find the worst sinners, we're overlooking ourselves. And by overlooking ourselves, we are missing out on our opportunity for change. By overlooking ourselves, we're missing out on our opportunity for transformation. Because we're scapegoating onto somebody else. But Jesus says, no, I tell you, don't think that these Galileans were the worst sinners. He said, I tell you, but unless you repent. Not the person sitting beside you, not your neighbor, not you. You will perish. Verse 4 says, or those 18 of whom the tower of Siloam fell and killed, do you think that they were the worst offenders than all the others who lived in Jerusalem? No, I tell you, but unless you repent, you will all likewise perish. Jesus gave another disastrous situation, and he asked them pretty much the same question he did in the previous verses. And Jesus tells them that if they do not repent, they too will perish. Now, someone might think that Jesus is talking about physical perishing alone, but he's not. The entire chapter in this conversation, Jesus goes on to make it clear that he's talking about spiritual perishing as well. Jesus is telling the disciples that they ought to worry about themselves. So even though these people are following Jesus, even though they are there to hear the message, Jesus is telling them, the followers, those who were there to hear the message, those who were there to hear his teachings, he tells them that even you all must repent, or you will likewise perish. Okay? So what does that mean to us? That means to us that being in the church, sitting in a pew or a chair, does not give us a golden ticket to not perish. Even those of us who are faithful to the assembly must also repent.